Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream with your boy Trader Main. We're trying these streams again on Twitter, as well as Twitch, as well as YouTube. Your boy's everywhere. Okay, I'm everywhere. I might show up on Pump Fun next. Who knows? But a happy Memorial Day to all of my friends in the USA. Hope you're enjoying your holiday and are grilling some fucking hot dogs and some burgers and drinking a bunch of light beer, because isn't that what it's all about, the American dream? So up here in Canada, the land of the not so free, I'm still up here putting in some work. So I want to get a stream on for you guys. I've got a fucking camera fan now plugged into the back of my camera, so hopefully that keeps it from overheating like it had in the last video. But I'm gonna basically run through where I think we're at with Bitcoin here. We had a weekly close, so we've got a little bit new information to work with, and I'll discuss what I think can probably happen this week. Trade ideas, all that kind of fun stuff. We'll roast the chat, we'll do our usual stuff, and then I'll let you guys go back to your light beers and hot dogging. But yeah, usual. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let's get right into this shit. So Bitcoin closed a weekly candle as an SFP, and you might be saying, Main, your title is clickbait. You're saying that we're gonna nuke. You're saying this to get people to click your video, even though that might not be what you think, and you would be correct. You would be correct. I'm a dirty little clip farming, YouTube thumbnail clickbaiting bastard, okay? I can't help it. This is what I've been told I need to do to get super duper famous, because I need that fucking YouTube plaque or I might unalive myself. Okay, I need it. 100K subs. So if I gotta clickbait my titles, I'm gonna fucking clickbait the shit out of my titles, okay? You're gonna see me going like this. You're gonna see me going, oh. You're gonna see me say wild, ridiculous shit, because I need the thumbnails. I need the fucking plaque, boys. I need the plaque. So let's actually talk about the charts and what really matters, because at the end of the day, what we want to do here is remain objective. Overall, I still think Bitcoin looks really good on the high time frame. Now, have we put in a weekly SFP? Yes. Where does my clickbait thumb title come from? It's very simple. Every time we get a weekly SFP on Bitcoin, we pretty much are guaranteed to get some kind of reaction, okay? Pretty much every time. Now, nothing is every single time no matter what, okay? In crypto or trading in general, if it was that easy, it would be too easy. But let's just go look over the past, I don't know, couple of years, and let's look at what happens when we get an SFP on the weekly chart on Bitcoin. Shall we do that? Let's fucking do it. I'm asking you guys, but I'm doing it regardless of whether you say yes or no. Okay, so we'll go back here. Here's a weekly SFP on the Bitcoin chart. And you can see this gave a pretty big reaction, right? Huge pump here. This is also a weekly SFP on the Bitcoin chart. Now, this is not some sort of mega dump to new lows, but we got a little bit of a pullback here. This is like a 10% pullback, right? Scroll up, scroll up. I think the next one is at the top here. Weekly SFP. Big old fucking dump, right? Weekly SFP. Big move to the upside. Weekly SFP. Big move to the upside. Weekly SFP at the top. Big move to the downside. And I can keep drawing these out if you like, but I think by now you're getting the picture here. Weekly SFPs generally hold some weight, okay? Here's a big one, moved up. That ended up being the bottom. I don't know if we SFP'd here, did we? SFP'd there, moved up. SFP'd the high here, didn't really get much of a move down. SFP'd the bottom, got a big move up, right? The bottom here, guess what? Weekly SFP. The top back in December, guess what? Weekly SFP. I'm getting tired of saying this. The bottom, weekly fucking SFP. So clearly, They're important. Whether or not it's going to give you the reaction every single time, you don't know. It requires a little bit more context. It requires a little bit more information before you decide whether or not this SFP is going to be one of these, where not really much happens, right? Like, yeah, we got a pump here, but it retraced. Small pump here, but it retraced. Or if it's going to be one of these, right? Or God forbid, like my clickbait title suggests, one of these. Okay, you still need more information. The SFP alone is not enough to make your entire trading idea. Nothing is ever that simple, right? But it's important enough on its own that we need to pay attention to it. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe that price can actually go down and it can only go up, it can only go down, it is important enough that we've got to pay attention to it. So we've marked it on our chart. We know that there's a weekly SFP at the high on Bitcoin. It took out last quarter's high and it closed as an SFP. Last time we did an SFP, it was the bottom. The time before that, it was the top. So I'm not saying it's going to be the top. I'm just presenting you with the fucking information. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a bunch of conditions and things that we look for to get confirmation whether or not this is actually going to give us some sort of big reaction or what we expect. Because at the end of the day, context is everything, right? You have to put all of this information together and then you derive your decision, what you want to do, how you want to react, okay? So let's get into it. What I think is more important than this weekly SFP is actually going to be the monthly closure for May. I think that this weekly SFP, no one's going to give a single fuck about it if the month of May can close above the prior all-time high. Similar to what I showed you guys in the last stream, where sometimes we take out a high of a candle, then we go back to the low. We've now taken out this month's high. I wouldn't be surprised if we then come and go to this month's low if it closes as a sweep on the monthly. That's still 5 days away. So we want to see how the month of May candle closes with regard to what level? The all-time high level. That's why I discussed this ad nauseum in the last video. Ad nauseum means a lot for the retards in the stream, okay? It means frequently. It means until I have fucking nausea. That the most important level here is to watch, is that all-time high level. It will dictate whether or not we have a monthly SFP. It is the weekly SFP level, and it's also the prior quarter's high. So really what you want to see for us to be ultra bullish, in my opinion, is in 5 days when the month of May candle closes, I would ideally like to see it close above 109,388 on whatever fucking chart this is. You might say, Maine, what about my fucking chart? Make sure it closes above there on your chart too. Now, a lot of questions I get is like, do you look at the spot chart? Do you look at the perps chart? Two things. I think the spot chart is more important for candle closures, and I think the perps chart should be the chart on the exchange you're actually trading, okay? Because remember, you can get a move on a perps chart that doesn't occur in spot because it's due to liquidations, okay? So that's going to be the key level to watch. It closed as an SFP on Sunday, yesterday. This is going to be the same level to watch in 5 days from now when the monthly candle closes. I want to see the bulls ideally close above there. Now, do they have to? Of course not. But for now, if you're bearish on Bitcoin for some reason, maybe you got dropped on your head as a child, I don't know, your invalidation is quite simply up here. It's above that sweep level. So if the bulls want to invalidate any bearish case, it closed through here, pretty high odds that this is going to trade significantly higher. No different than here, right? Once we got this close through here, you might say, oh my God, but Maine, the move is already in action. I already missed the entire move. You missed from here to here, right? That's a 20% move. It went up another almost 40%. So you missed 1/3 of the move by waiting for the weekly candle closure. I'm not suggesting you wait and see a weekly candle closure before you make your decision. But if we get a very strong weekly candle close through here, and ultimately a monthly candle close through here, it's going to be pretty high confidence that we're entering the expansive phase of the next move. So you could have literally longed here with your stop below there, right? It's just a breakout long. It's no different than the exact same trade from back here. We'll go back on this one. Okay? Right here. Same trade. Once it finally closed through there really strong, just long it. Oh, but it was all the way here and it went up 80%. It's like, okay. And then it went up 200% after that. You missed 1/3 of the move. And again, I'm not telling you have to wait for these super high time frame candle closes to get into the trade. But what I am telling you is that the high time frame does not lie, right? It doesn't really lie. And so when you get that high time frame break, that's usually pretty confident. Whereas here, if we zoomed into the 12-hour or something, I mean, not even on the 12-hour, but like the hourly maybe, you could say, oh, well, is it breaking out? I don't know. It closed above, and then it's back below. It's a back above. It's back below. I mean, this was such a strong breakout. It's not even a good example. But when you get a daily, a weekly, a monthly close through a significant level like that, it makes your bias and your ability to trust that the market is showing its hand pretty easy, because the high time frame takes a while to turn, right? It takes a while to set up. The big ship turns very slowly. So when the market shows you its hand and you get those kind of confirmations on the high time frame, they're worth paying attention to. No different than a high time frame fake out is worth paying attention to. And maybe you didn't long the SFP, but when we got a weekly close through here, why aren't you bullish at that point? The high time frame is showing its hand. So now on the low time frame, we can look for like clues that of what the high time frame is going to do. So what do I mean by that? Let's go down to the 12-hour now. If this is going to pull back based on that weekly SFP, there's a very high likelihood that before the weekly starts trading lower, like significantly, and showing signs of being really bearish, is the lower time frame will be in a downtrend. So if we all of a sudden get a lower high, and then a lower high here, that to me is the 12-hour signaling that the weekly setup is playing out. Okay, so what I'm going to say here is something that is hopefully easy to understand and hopefully makes a lot of sense. But the high time frame, okay, direction will appear on the low time frame first. Okay, so what I mean by that is this, and I'll read questions in a second to make sure you understand this. If the weekly is doing this, and it's in the process of putting in a higher low, on the low time frame here, okay, you're going to see leading into this move on the 12-hour, it's in a downtrend. Now, on the weekly chart, this might just be one red candle. But on the 12-hour, the 4-hour, the daily, it's in a downtrend. And then where that higher low is going to form, that downtrend, all of a sudden is going to revert to an uptrend. That is now the low time frame signaling it's time for the high time frame trend to continue. The highest probability trades that you can find, my entire system that I share with you guys day over day, week over week, over 900 videos here on YouTube, is based on identifying this moment when the low time frame is syncing back up with the high time frame. So while the weekly might literally be green candle, okay, and then we have, let's say, an order block here, and then it has a red candle. That's impossible for the red candle to be there. Then it has a red candle, and it retests that order block, okay? And then another huge green candle appears, right? And this is the weekly. So this is an up candle. So this is up, this is down, and this is up. And you might say, how the fuck do you get in here? On the low time frame here, we're looking for this down candle, which is a downtrend, to all of a sudden give us a clue that it's getting back in line with the high time frame trend, which is up, at a high time frame level of demand, blah, blah, blah. So when you have something like a weekly SFP, if you want to know if that's going to play out bullish or bearishly, what you need to do is use the low time frame for clues. If the weekly is in fact bullish, I should see the lower time frame flip bullish early. Right? And there's going to be fake outs and whatnot. There's going to be periods where it goes up in this week and then goes down again. But we're trying to identify this point of reversal. So let me give you a really good example of this, okay? So at the lows here, we had a weekly SFP. So if I want to predict that this weekly SFP is going to lead to expansion to the upside, there's lots of things we can consider. Okay, it took out a prior week's low, prior month's low, right? It's trading into a weekly fair value gap. So we have reasons on the weekly chart to be bullish here. Right? We have reasons to be bullish here based on the weekly chart alone. Where can I get an entry here? I could enter based on the weekly. You could have entered basically on the weekly fair value gap, right? Maybe your stop's there. You target all-time high. Maybe your stop is down here below the weekly OB because technically it can come all the way down there. Maybe you're entering on the weekly SFP. There's a bunch of ways you could trade this purely off the weekly. But you can also zoom in and you can say if this is actually going to be a reversal here based on the weekly, I should see clues of that on the low time frame. What would a clue be that the low time frame is about to stop going, that the high time frame is about to stop going down and start going up? What would be the clue? I don't know, probably 12-hour bullish market structure. Go to my chart. Don't go to my chart. Fuck you. Go to my Twitter. At the start of April, I posted this exact chart with this exact setup as it was happening. Okay? I said, hey, if we have this weekly sweep that's occurred here, if we get a break above here, right, and a break of structure on the 12-hour, that to me is the 12-hour signaling that it's getting bullish, meaning that I think this weekly SFP is going to play out to the upside. And lo and behold, we put in bullish structure, and then what did the 12-hour do? Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. It was in an uptrend. It went from being in a downtrend, reversal, now it's in an uptrend. And we identified this at that point in time on the weekly using the 12-hour as kind of our clue of the low time frame structure sinking back up at the high time frame structure. Now, why am I going on this massive fucking rant? Because the best trades you're going to take are going to be the ones, because none of you are trading the fucking weekly. I know you. You know you. I know that you know that I know you, or whatever Ben Stiller says in Dodgeball, right? I know that none of you are sitting on the weekly chart waiting for a weekly setup to form. It takes too fucking long. I get it, okay? But if you can determine the directional bias of a higher time frame, monthly, weekly, it could be the daily, and then you use that bias to inform your low time frame decision making, you are going to increase your win rate, the expectancy of your trades, the risk rewards of the trade setups you take, the probabilities of all of your setups drastically. So if the daily is bullish and you're scalping and you're taking shorts, you need to know that you are trading against the high time frame directional bias. It doesn't mean you can't do it, because absolutely on the 5-minute chart, there's a bunch of downtrends here. But the way higher probability trades, the way that you're going to catch a runner, and I'm talking about a runner in a trade before the term got co-opted by Memecoin gaylords, like an actual runner where it makes a new high and it just rips, is by trading in line with the high time frame bias. So here is a few time frames in which you can use to determine that. I think if you use the monthly and weekly as your high time frame, execution on the 3-day, the daily, the H12. Okay, so this is your high time frame, and then this will be your execution time frame. These are the ones I use, okay? If I'm using the 3-day, the daily, or the 12-hour, I'm going to be executing generally on the 4-hour or the 1-hour. And if I'm using something like the 4-hour, I don't really go much lower than that personally. I might be executing on the M15, and you could go all the way down to like the H1 and execute on the M5. So if you're someone who is actively trading, you're day trading, you're scalping, if you can add on top of what you're doing on your little low time frame bullshit, one higher time frame and line up so these are congruent, meaning if this is bullish, I'm looking for longs here. If this is bearish, I'm looking for shorts here. You're going to increase your hit rate drastically. You will make more money. I promise you. Try it. Back test it. Forward test it. Try it. I'm telling you. Anyways, I don't know where this rant spawned from. I don't know what I was talking about before this. But here we are. We're 20 minutes in, and I don't know what we've covered. So with all that being said, that potential reversal that could be forming based on the weekly SFP is only relevant if we start forming bearish market structure on the 12-hour. See how I just pulled a Trump. I just fucking weaved, went off on a tangent, weaved back to the main thread. Unbelievable. So until we get some sort of clue on the low time frame that this time frame is starting to roll over, like, okay, we got a lower high and now we've got a lower low here, that might be a clue that that weekly SFP is going to actually play out. How hard, we don't know. But for now, as long as we're maintaining this structure here, I don't see us coming down to here. If we lose this gray box, I think the likelihood of us at least playing out down to this weekly fair value gap and coming and mitigating it is pretty high. So that's what I'm watching for right now. I know many of you are probably saying, what about Monday's range? What about Monday's range? You can throw on Monday's range. Maybe we get some sort of move up, some sort of Monday's range short. Maybe that's the trade you take for this week. We cannot discuss Monday's range until Monday's candle has closed. So right now, Monday's range is irrelevant because it's not locked in. Once it's locked in, by all means, go ahead to your heart's desire. Start to plan out some Monday's range strategies. But for now, I think that there's a decent hit rate, a decent chance that we get some sort of downside reaction if we lose this area. If we lose this area. Until then, we're range bound. Until then, we're going sideways, and there's not really a need for me to force a trade here. What would get me into a trade? I think losing demand here, I would look to short into here. If we swept this, I would look to short. Otherwise, I'm waiting patiently, and I'm either trying to long here or I'm trying to long once we get that really strong confirmed close above this level. And in the meantime, there's tons of opportunities on altcoins, which have been unbelievably volatile this entire time. If you really have the itch and you're like, I got to get in some fucking trades right the fuck now. All right. So I did a lot of talking there. Are there any questions? Trader Main, I know you stole Crypto King's money. Why did you do this? I'll do you one better. Who is Crypto King? Bro, I thought you were disappearing on us soon. Why are you trying to get the subs up? Because I want the plaque, bro. I want the plaque, Mike Soto. It's an easy game. Golf is an easy game. Oh, this guy's also on Twitch. He's saying, I know it's you who stole Crypto King's money. Why did you do this? Who the fuck is Crypto King? I haven't stolen any money. I promise you that. He's the king of the trenches. Okay. Big Mary next had a question. low time frame MSB inside of a high time frame POI is enough for an entry, or do you want some sort of high time frame liquidity sweep? So a low time frame setup fractal is enough, but I much prefer if you have a sweep. So we have an H12 order block here. So there's an H4 M15 trade here that played out, right? Here's your sweep in the H12 OB on the H12. H4 has a breaker here, and it has its own sweep. And then probably on the M15, you got the entire fucking shebang. MSB, breaker, low time frame sweep. The higher time frame sweep just makes it a much stronger setup. It's not needed for there to be a setup, but it makes it much stronger. I like it a lot better. Hiring, you'll get me the plaque. What are you going to do? Break into the YouTube headquarters and steal it for me? Steal it for me? What is your prediction to BTC all-time high time frame price? I'll give you a crazy prediction. My prediction for the Bitcoin all-time high price is higher than here. Okay, higher than here. I don't really know. I find these, so the people who do price predictions, they like to do stuff like this. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to put it on log mode because I fucking sit down while I pee. And then they'll use like fucking, you know, fibs, and they'll do extensions, and they'll draw curves, and they'll be like, okay, well, we've got this trend line and we've got this one. And then they've also got some sort of, I don't know, some sort of curve. They'll do like this. So like, and look at the log curve of this, and then they do this. And then after all this is done, right, their wife or girlfriend has left them, and you know they're just left with old fucking Pamela Henderson there at the end of the night. I don't find these types of predictions very useful for a few reasons. Reason number one, what if you're wrong? So let's say that your prediction for this cycle is 160. So you think we trade to 160. You're like, that's all-time high. That's where it's copping out. That's where I'm getting out. What happens if it goes to 159? Like, do you never sell? Right? What happens if it goes to 200? And or 500 and you sold all of yours at 160? So the only reason to make a prediction like this really is for clout points on the internet. And when you really think about it, it's very similar to like the gym, okay? You think you go to the gym for the ladies. You know, the ladies want to see the big old muscles, bro. You know, and as someone who got pretty big and strong at the gym, there's a point of diminishing returns. Eventually, when you're in the gym and you're so big and you're deadlifting so heavy that in between each set, you have a bunch of fucking chicken and rice, and you're doing 1 rep maxes of 500 pounds, the only other people who care are a bunch of other sweaty, pimple-faced dudes. And crypto Twitter's kind of the same. After a while, like, you getting some crazy prediction right, so a bunch of fucking nerds can like your tweet, and then, like, you're stoked. Like, it's kind of gay when you think about it. Right? Like when you think about it like that, it's pretty gay. So that's my problem with price predictions, is that there's like, what is the point? If you're right, congrats. If you're wrong, what? How do you action it? I'm much more interested in just following the trend. So in prior cycles, almost every single cycle I've been a part of, you could basically continue to be bullish on Bitcoin until it broke 3-day market structure, right? Bullish, 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 broke structure. That was the top. Bullish, bullish, broke structure. That was the top, right? So maybe this is going to go to 150K. But the moment it loses structure, then I'm questioning whether this trend is going to continue to not, and whether or not it topped out at exactly 150K, who fucking cares, other than a bunch of other dudes if so facto, you're gay. Does that answer your question? But my prediction, I don't know, 150. What do I base that on? I pull it right out of the deepest depths of my fucking anus. I have no clue. I have no clue where it will actually top out. Hate from Australia. Hate from Canada, my brother. Good to see you again. You want to see my feet? Buddy, if I put my feet on the internet, it would break the internet. It would break the internet, dude. Hate from India. You guys are so funny. So there. So what do you guys want to talk about now? What should we do? What do you think about the Ceastus hack situation? I have no idea what it is. Can you explain your risk management? Because in old vids, you were talking about always 2% per trade. But when or how have you deviated from this? Hate from Ontario. Fucking hate right back for you from fucking BC, buddy. So the thing about 2%, please send hate from all over the world. I need it. I feed on it. The thing about risk management, right, is the reason I give you guys like the 2% or the 1 to 5% per trade, right? The reason that this is so important is because it's about compounding and scaling and growing your account. Now, the problem is a lot of this information falls on deaf ears because someone's like, I have $1,000, right? You got $1,000. You got whatever, 5 Solana, 6, 7 Solana. And you're like, I need to turn this into 100K. The only way you're going to do this is gambling. Now, could you use some actual critical thinking in that gambling? Like you're doing research, you're you're tracking wallets, and you're doing all the other stuff those fucking Memecoin guys do to try and get into the right one? Sure. But you're gambling, right? You're trying to hit a number on the roulette table where it pays out 35 to 1. That's what you're trying to do. Whereas in trading, you have a $1,000 account and you want to systematically grow this, right, to 100K. That's going to take a long time if every trade you're risking 2%, right? But the math behind this, quite simply, is if you have a $1,000 account, you're risking 2%, it's $20, right? Well, guess what? You can lose $20 and then $20, and then obviously this number will change as this balance drops, but you can lose 2% a lot of times without completely nuking your account. Whereas if you're saying, hey, I have $1,000 and on this trade, I'm going to risk $250. If you get 4 trades wrong in a row, you're done. Like you've blown up your account. So when I talk about the 1 to 2% risk or the 1 to 5% risk, I'm specifically using that in the context of like you're trading. You're trying to compound your account. You're trying to allow, because when you're trading, you're going to have wins, losses. You'll have win streaks, losing streaks. You can lose 10, 15 trades in a row. But if you're losing 2% per trade, you're going to be fine. You can't lose 5 trades in a row. If you lose 5 trades in a row and you're risking 10% every trade, your account's now nuked 50%. You now have to do 100% gain just to get back to break even. So it's a little tricky. I still think risk management's important, even if you're gambling and you're trading meme coins, because you say, hey, I have 10 SOL. I'm not just going to maybe punt it all into one play, because if I'm wrong, I'm fucking busted. But the risk management calculation you need to do there is a little different than the risk management calculation you're going to be doing actively, systematically trading. But remember the power of compounding. If you have a 100K account, okay, it might not sound like a lot, but 2% is $2,000. It's not nothing, okay? If you can do 4 to 6R every month, 4 to 6R, which is very reasonable. That means that if you're aiming for a 2 to 1 risk reward, you need to win a couple of trades, 3 trades. All of a sudden, if you're doing 6R a month, that's $12,000 a month. You are now making 6 figures off of a 100K account. Scale that up. Your account's $500,000. It's $1 million. you can make a lot of money risking 1 to 2%. The place that people get stuck up with 1 to 2% is they say, I only have a couple $100. 1 to 2% seems meaningless. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. You're just put it all in Fartcoin and then, you know, go follow Dip Wheeler and just like all his tweets and pray. Thanks, BM. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I'll go over Solana and everything, guys. I'll go over all the fucking meme coins, not all the meme coins. Fuck the meme coins. Here's the thing. I think meme coins have just become extremely gay, dude. They've become extremely gay. And it's because there's like two factions. Last rant, and I'll go back to the charts, I promise. But the problem I'm having with meme coins lately is there's like a few buckets, okay? So you have the meme traders, okay, that are actually in there grinding in the trenches, okay? Grinding in the trenches. And they're in there, they're doing it every day. Then you have like the shillers. And these guys either are being paid to talk about a meme coin or they've bundled it and they're in early, right? Like, or they've got the supply cornered or whatever, you know, and like they're just, it's very obvious that they're forcing this shit down your throat. It's not organic, it's not natural, it's not fun. And then you've got the haters. And now, just because they're haters, it doesn't mean they're not doing good work, right? But they're basically saying everything's a scam. And they're kind of right. Most of these things are a scam. So the problem you have is it's just this circle of clusterfuck, right? Where the guys who are trading are like, oh, this one's good. And then the shillers are shilling stuff, and that one's a scam. The hater's calling everything a scam. You listen to the hater. He saves you from the shiller, but then you miss out on the real organic play. And then the meme coin guy and the hater are fighting and the shillers are fighting. And it's just become this very incestuous, stupid, annoying thing. And my entire feed is just people shilling mostly dog shit vaporware, trying to dump their bags on each other. So the way that you, I think, deal with this chaos, this entropy, if you will, is assume every single person on the website is trying to fuck you. They're trying to fuck you over. They're trying to take your money. They own something at a lower price than you, and they want to sell it to you. Just assume that with everyone, with me, with everyone, every single person. If I'm posting Bitcoin looks good here for a long, that's because I'm long. My entry's better than yours. I need it to go up so I can sell to you. If someone's posting about some fucking micro cap fucking coin, probably good chance they own 1% of it. They need it to go up so they can nuke it on your head. It's not going to be the case all the time, but you'll be much better off just ignoring all of these people who are just in this fucking ridiculous, chaotic, cyclical argument with each other, and just go into there, know the game is rigged, know everyone's out to get you, get your bag, get out. You're a bank robber. Hit the spot, load up, get the fuck out. Don't linger around. All right, so let's look at some other coins here. So we'll look at Ethereum. So Ethereum took out last quarter's low. Now it's trading about at the midpoint of the prior quarter candle. Zoom into the 12-hour here. We're just kind of going sideways. Not much to report. We're actually getting quite tight in this range, and I do expect a move soon on ETH. Gun to my head, I think the move ends up being something like this, but I don't know. These predictions are fucking meaningless unless they work, because then I will retweet it and I'll say I told you so. Call me fucking Picasso Main. But otherwise, meaningless. Not really actionable. If we get another move down on ETH towards the low kind of 2400-ish level, back down, kind of test this as an over-under almost, right? Bang, bang, and then one more down. I might consider taking a long, but for now, this is just consolidating. It's just going sideways. So what does that mean? It means I don't want to take a trade when we're dead smack in the middle of the range. Remember, never diddle in the middle. Leave the diddling to Crypto Cred. That's his job. Never diddle in the middle. So we want to focus on taking our trades at the extremes of the range. So right now we're dead smack in the middle of the range. I'm going to wait for us to either get towards the range high or get towards the range low before I'm interested in punting on a trade. You have a much higher probability of your trade working out if it's taken at one of the extremes of the ranges. Okay? I am on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on TikTok. I post 3 to 5 TikToks a day. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you thought, man, you're 43 years old and you're posting on TikTok. What a fucking loser. And you would be correct, sir. You would be correct, but you should still follow me over there. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on ETH. High time frame. Not really much to discuss here. We still are up into this high time frame resistance level. We took out that prior week's high and we're still below it. Just like I talked about in the last video, I have stink bids or at least alerts down here on ETH. I do not know if we will come back and retest this level. I have no idea. But if for some reason we get some sort of crazy move on Bitcoin that causes altcoins to spike or drop 10, 15, 20% like that, which happens all the time, I want to be aware and I want to be prepared that this is absolutely an area where you knife catch ETH if it comes back there. I'm not saying it will, but if it does, the only way you'll be prepared is if you have that level marked out and you know where it is. Maybe at the very least you have some alerts set. Bitcoin dominance is creeping back towards the highs. Remember this from last video? It's creeping back towards the highs. So that means if Bitcoin does something like this, like if it does this move on Bitcoin, which is like 10%, not even, 10, 20, 30% candles on altcoins. A 5 to 10% pullback on Bitcoin with how strong Bitcoin dominance is, you can see major altcoins drop 10, 20% and shit coins drop 30, 40%. And then if Bitcoin's going to do this and then V reverse to new highs, you're going to have altcoins that do this. And then like within hours, they're back above where the dump started. And you're going to be like, how the fuck did that guy get that fill there? It's by doing this kind of preparation and say, okay, yeah, this level is way below price, but I'm at the very least going to set an alert here, because if an altcoin dumps 30% into demand, and at the same time, Bitcoin has come and retested demand, that's the highest probability spot to attempt a knife catch. Knife cats are very dangerous. Sometimes it's better off picking up the knife once it's already on the floor. A lot less dangerous, but if you want to know how people get these crazy knife catches, this is exactly how you do it. Bitcoin is coming into a level of support. It's dropped 5 or 10%. You have an overreaction on altcoins, and they come and tag some high time frame demand level that no one thought we were going to come back to. This happens a lot, okay? So definitely, I would, and I have already marked that level out on at least ETH. And I think you should do the same, because you never know. You never know. All I know is every time we get one of those very fast moves, if I don't have a plan, if I don't have any alerts set, I miss everything. And then you come back and you're like, God damn, Bitcoin V reversed and I didn't get any fills. Let me see if I can find an example of this happening here. Like probably this. Let's see. January 13th. This might be a good example. It might not. I'm pulling this out of my ass. So let's go look at January 13th on Solana. right? So this move that went down very fast on Bitcoin, it went down, what, 10% here? 10% drop on Bitcoin. Let's see what Solana did. So Solana dropped 12%. V reversed back to new highs. I bet you Fartcoin did something even crazier. If I had to guess, Fartcoin went up. That same day that Bitcoin dropped 10% and then closed back strong, Fartcoin closed the day up 40%. So how did someone catch this knife catch on Fartcoin? Well, maybe if they were looking at it and they said, okay, I don't know if Fartcoin is going to come back to this level, but I'm going to mark it out anyways. I'm going to have some, demand here, and I'll be ready. It put in a sweep, whatever it is. Like, there's going to be examples and moments in time where Bitcoin comes, it does a big down move, which ends up being an SFP. This ends up closing super bullish, and you get a reaction like this on an altcoin, and you want to be ready for that. Having a plan, setting stink bids, and looking to buy the dip or bid that knife catch when Bitcoin ends up closing bullishly. So I could totally see, with how the market is setting up right now, something similar happening in that we get a small pullback on Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin doing this, in my opinion, is not bearish at all. This is a high time frame retest of demand after a massive uptrend. Okay, and if that happens, some of these altcoins are going to get murdered. Bitcoin, in theory, could come all the way back to here, and I think still be really good. I know this would look and probably be painful, but this is, like, when you think about it, we've had 7 straight weeks of green. Having 1 or 2 weeks of pullback, I'm not saying this is going to happen. This would still be high time frame, very bullish structure. If Bitcoin pulls back $15,000, some altcoins are going to go down 80%. And some of these coins are up so far off the lows, you might think that those levels are never going to get tested again. And the only way that you get into those trades is by being prepared. Okay, so ETH, again, I completely went off on a fucking crazy tangent. I would be interested near the range lows or something above the range highs. Until then, pretty much no trade. Same thing on Sol here. We're just in a range. Took out the low, traded to the high. Took out the high, traded to the low. So if we come back down near the lows here, yeah, I want to be looking for a long. Until then, I'm chilling. Kind of near the middle of the range. No obvious setup for me here. You could argue that some of these altcoins have put in bearish setups. We swept the H12 high, right? And we have our breaker. We have our market structure break. So if you took this short on Solana, GG's, your target is down here, and that's where I'm looking along. So no real trade here. I actually think a chart that looks kind of interesting is Sol BTC. I think this could be attempting to put in a low right here because we have this kind of over-under on the weekly here. It looks even clearer on the 3-day, right? So we have a very clear over-under here on Sol BTC. So if this is able to maintain this low, lower low, higher low here, I think we might get some sort of move up on Sol BTC. The best way for this to happen is either BTC pulling back and Sol pulling back less, or BTC going sideways and Sol pumping. That would result in this chart going up. Do I not fart? I've been known to fart on occasion. It's going to cost you, though. You got to follow me on IG and TikTok, and then join my OnlyFans if you want that content. Appreciate the message, Tren. Meme coins took all the shit things about NFTs and made it worse. Pretty much. I mean, Pump Fund has made it so easy for coins to launch that there's just no effort in the grift anymore. Like, you used to be able to respect a good grift. Luna? Like, we're talking Anchor? Luna? Like, that was a sophisticated Ponzi scheme. 20% yield on my stable coins for doing nothing? That was a sophisticated fucking Ponzi. It was beautiful. It was like art. There was effort. They had investors. The guy was rich. He was on Twitter. Like, there was effort in the Ponzi. Was it a scam? Yes. Did it go to zero? Yes. Is he in jail? Yes. But there was like some effort, some sophistication to the scam. You know, and now we've got guys who will launch 3,000 pump fund rugs and add liquidity. It goes up a little bit. They rug it. And it's like, this wallet has made $1 million by launching 500 rugs in the last week. And it's like, fucking gay, low effort. You know, it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's not what it once was. I use TradingView alerts because it goes to my phone. Traquan says, knife catch is bad. Buy green, sell red. I'll actually say the exact opposite. The best buys are red candles, and the best sells are green candles. Want to know my evidence here? What was the best point to sell Bitcoin? Green candles. Where are the best buys on Bitcoin? The red candles. Because when it's ugliest, that's usually the big fucking scary red candle that ends up being the bottom. You want to sell on the upswing, not on the fucking downswing. It's way harder to get out once the market starts rolling over. It's way better, and I'm way happier to get out early. You were trolling. Well, I'm sorry. You think ETH will hit all-time high this cycle? I don't know, to be honest with you. Like, again, ETH to get to all-time high has to go up 60%. It's doable. Oh, no, never mind. That's a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. It has to go up 90%. So how high does BTC have to go for ETH to go up another 90%? Pretty damn high. I wouldn't be surprised if ETH gets close or just makes a slightly higher high. Like, I don't think it's going to 10K unless we're going to like a crazy number on Bitcoin. But it's got a lot of work to do. Is it possible? Yes. I don't know. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate you, bro. Guys, I don't know how these YouTube fucking, like these views work on fucking Twitter, but like it fucks the view count. So I got like 700 people watching concurrently between Twitch and YouTube. But then Twitter says I've got like another fucking 17,000. Insane. Isn't a close below the high from January a failed auction breakout back into the range, back down to the bottom? It could be. I mean, that's the entire point of my rant at the start of the video, right? Is we did put in a sweep here. So if we see low time frame weakness, that means there's a high probability that we at least retrace into some of this range. Now, whether or not we go all the way to the range low, I don't fucking know. Is it possible? Can we do this? Yeah, like anything can happen, bro. I don't think a lot of people were expecting this to happen, but it's effectively very similar, right? Like it's kind of the same. Like it's just no. Like how many people thought this was going to be how it played out with the double top? Not many. Anything can happen. I'm not ruling anything out. So failure here could mean a big move down, but again, low time frame is going to give us some clues. It's going to let us decide early on whether or not we think that this is going to play out. And any sort of retracement, at least initially, I'm looking for reasons to be bullish because I still believe that there's room for higher. No different than here. If you followed me and you watched my videos and stuff back then, I told you guys, well, everyone was shitting. What happened on Twitter? Everyone creaming their shorts, scammers coming out, everyone telling you were going way higher. And then when we got down here, everyone shitting their pants, telling you it's over, bringing out targets of like 20K, right? And I just was very simple. I'm like, this is a range. I believe that the high time frame structure is bullish. So any pullback here, I'm looking for a reason for it to be a higher low. Whether that's down here, 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 here. I was looking for it to be a reason to be a higher low. I'm treating this the same way. This is, I believe, a very strong move to the upside. I would like to believe that there's more juice left to squeeze still. So any sort of pullback into this price leg, I'm looking for a higher low. Whether it's here, whether it's here, I don't know. Could it come all the way back down here and still go up? Yes. But I'm not going to just wait and hope that this happens, right? We just got to react to what the market is doing. We get new information every day. Something could happen tomorrow that drastically changes everything, right? Do I think Vitalik is gay? I think it's more realistic that Vitalik likes fucking is into like bestiality than it is that he's gay. I mean, I've seen some weird videos of him interacting with like cats and shit. Like he just seems like a very odd duck, and not the spokesperson I think that you want for your fucking coin. Like at least Michael Saylor, every fucking video he's number go up, buy Bitcoin. You don't own enough Bitcoin. Like at least he's like a better price cheerleader. I'm sure people that own ETH wish Vitalik was a little bit more Saylor-esque in how he reps Ethereum, but I just don't think he gives a shit. I mean, the guy's a billionaire and he's like a weird autistic nerd. I don't know. What is the best indicator to use early on? I don't think you should use any indicators early on. I think you should learn how to read price on its own. Every single indicator basically is just a representation of price, volume, and like time. That's all it is, right? Like a moving average is just the average of however many prior candles. So a nine period moving average, right, would be on the weekly chart, would be the last 9 weekly candles. And then it would smooth that out into a line for you. But if you understand price, you don't need any of that shit. Like I don't need the RSI to know that this is a bearish divergence. Because I can read price and I can see that each move up here is losing steam. It's making a slightly higher high. It's losing steam. I could tell that this is a bearish divergence. And if you put on the RSI, oh, God. And I bricked my fucking thing, didn't I? I bricked it. It's going to make me reload without saving. See if that worked. Okay. I don't need to know that this, right, is a bearish divergence. I don't need the RSI to give me this confirmation here. I can see it in the chart. So when you know how to read price, I'm not saying indicators aren't useful. They're a different, but it's just a different way to visualize price. And if you can read price, I think that's more important, at least early on, than relying on some sort of indicator. What is the next hype Ponzi trend for altcoins? I have no fucking idea. I wish I knew. I completely faded Hyperliquid. Like an absolute retard. There is no H12 SFP in the making on BTC right now. Is this a question or a statement? FTX payouts coming soon. You think people are just going to reinvest mostly into crypto space or run back to fiat? I think it's impossible to say. I sold my claim ages ago. I got like 99 cents on the dollar. And I did not put it back into crypto. And I'm a crypto guy. I said, fuck that. That money was already dead to me. I'm going to use it to buy a house. Thanks, Jamal. Appreciate you, bro. So I didn't put my money back into crypto right away. I do think there will be people that are scorned. But for just anecdotally, I do have one friend who lost like not a crazy amount of money. Meaningful for him, but maybe not meaningful for others. And he's getting it back from FTX. And his first question to me was, what should I buy? So maybe there will be, maybe there will be some people who absolutely want to ape into that. and get right back into crypto. Views on ETH BTC. I think ETH BTC is trying to make a critical reclaim here, right? So we have this old monthly low right there. So we traded below it. We're now trading above. The monthly closes in 5 days, right? And it's trying really fucking hard to close above that level. It's trying really fucking hard to close above that level. We've got this 3-day order block there that's trying to close above. So we got to see, right? Going back to my explanation earlier, how do we know if a monthly level is going to reclaim? Well, the 3 days trying to flip an old level and put in bullish market structure. And if it's able to, that's a pretty good clue that maybe the monthly is in fact doing that reclaim. High time frame down to low time frame, right? Sorry, I do have an appointment soon, guys, so I'm going to have to dip in a little bit here. But let's see if I can hammer out a few more questions. How do you get 99 cents on the dollar? There's tons of firms buying the bankruptcy claims, so you could sell them. My first offer, someone offered me 20 cents, then it was 30, then it was 40, and as it became more apparent that bankruptees were going to be paid back in full, you could get more money. They were offering 1.1 on the dollar only like a year ago, not even a few months ago. Vitalik eats lettuce. I mean, so do I, but I think that's probably all we have in common. Appreciate you, Jerry. Tell me a trade to turn 100 to 1K for real. Well, Sanyam Meta, if you send me $100, I will keep it, and then I will block you. And that lesson to not trust strangers on the internet, it's worth more than 1,000. It's invaluable. I'll do that for you. That's a pretty good risk-reward trade for you, buddy. Yeah, I'm getting a colonoscopy because I am 50 years old. So, interesting question. 20 cents on the dollars. Those sellers got super wrecked. Yeah, but if you got, let's say you had $1 million, okay, and then you sold it for 20 cents on the dollar here. Now you have 200K, and you shoved it all into Bitcoin. You probably made more than your money back, right? Because there's time value to money. I much would have rather had all the money I lost on FTX back here as opposed to getting it back here, right? That's the calculus. That's the math that you're doing when you're trying to decide whether or not to sell. The jelking has been going well. Thank you for asking. Do I think hype is a good buy here? No. And I know that that's going to go against what everyone is saying because hype has the ultimate bull marketing machine. Just realize not everyone who's bullish on hype actually has any fucking clue what they're talking about. A lot of people, by just getting the hype airdrop, made more money than they've ever made doing anything else in crypto ever. So there's a lot of people with bag bias here. Okay? Do I think hype is awesome and Hyperliquid is very cool and it's here to stay? Yeah. Are there bearish cases? I don't know. Maybe perps become legal in the US. Hype now has more competition. Maybe they go super hard. The liberals get back in America. They go super hard on KYC and geo-blocking people in America. I don't know. Maybe there's a bear case, but I do think it's a good coin and good tech and very cool. But just keep in mind that all the people shilling it, a lot of them, this is the most amount of money they've ever made, and it's just from using the product. So they have and all of them have a massive bag. So there's bag bias involved in that, right? The James Wynn thing is accounting to this. Oh my God, he opened a $1 billion notional perp position. He closed it. Nothing happened. Who fucking knows? So I'm not saying it's a bad coin by any means. That's not what I'm saying at all. But just keep in mind, when everyone is shilling something, a lot of these same people may have shilled stuff in the past that they were super bullish on too, and it didn't work. And maybe they were right on this one. So this is one of those ones where you got to temper the online noise with the reality, right? The chart has gone up since the start of April, 300%. And you might say, oh my God, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Popcat in that same time frame went up the same amount. FWOG went up at 1.500%. Fartcoin went up even more, bottom to top in the same time. Right? Start of April, Fartcoin went up as much or more than Hype. So Hype being this revolutionary tech, blah, 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 a lot of other coins went up just as much. Okay, don't shoot me. That's just a reality. Lots of coins from April to now did 2, 3, 4X's. Hype, you could do it obviously with size. Some of these other coins, not so much. I'm just saying, right? But I can't buy this personally. I think I would have to wait for some kind of pullback if I wanted to really get in this thing. I would say maybe anywhere down there, like anywhere in this breakaway gap here. I think if it comes back and it's generous, somewhere down there. Again, a 5% pullback on Bitcoin, this thing can easily pull back 10, 15%. So if I wanted to buy Hype, I would have to wait for a pullback. And maybe I don't get it. Maybe I'm left waiting and I don't get it. Hold on, before I go here, Oliver seems to be angry. He goes, again and again, he's starting to talk about meme coins when it suits him compared to Hype. Oliver, what the fuck are you saying? What are you trying to say here, bro? Am I not allowed to talk about meme coins? Do you see the degeneracy that goes on Twitter from guys who have as much or more followers than me shilling out fucking $1 million market cap coins? I don't do that. Am I not allowed to talk about meme coins that are multi-$100 million market cap? Fart coins, billions of dollars market cap? Can I not talk about those? Is that not allowed? Oliver? Am I not allowed to compare two coins against each other? Oliver? Is that not allowed? Is that against the fucking rules? The unwritten rules? This might piss you off, Oliver, but guess what? I just charted Hype against Fartcoin. One of the most serious innovations in all of crypto over the last handful of years. I'm charting it against a coin that's about farting. How does that make you feel, Oliver? How does it make you feel? I'm comparing the two because they're just assets. They go up, they go down. Yes, I just compared a meme coin to Hype. You fucking dunce. You fucking dishcloth. Because you're pissing on meme coins all the time. I'm not pissing on meme coins. I'm just saying I don't really trade them because I find it convoluted, annoying, and most of it a scam because they all are. They're all going to zero, Oliver. I don't know if you're aware. They're all going to zero eventually. They just might go up first. But look at this. Fartcoin is starting to outperform Hype, dude. Or sorry, our Fartcoin has been outperforming Hype. Now, right now, Hype is making a comeback, right? So imagine this is ETH BTC. So if this is ETH BTC and the chart looks like this probably means that ETH is starting to outperform. But since this is Hype, Fart, again, I can't even spell fart. Revolutionary technology versus a coin about farts. This chart would indicate that Hype is starting to outperform. But this meme coin, Fartcoin, has been kicking the shit out of Hype coin. I love you too, bro. I love you too. See, this is what it's all about. It's about having some banter, right? But still, at the end of the day, we love each other because that's what homies do. Homies love each other no matter what. All right, guys, I actually have to go to an appointment, and it's not a colonoscopy. It's something much, much gayer, if you can believe. But I do have to go, and I'm going to be late if I don't leave right now. So I love you guys. As always, I'll be back with another stream on Wednesday. I hope you appreciate and enjoy these streams. I've been doing them. I'll keep doing them. All for you. If you want to support your boy, check out the links in the description on YouTube. My free Telegram is there. The free Discord is there. The order block indicator that draws your order blocks for you, Breakout, my prop firm, the Haven, all that stuff's there. My fucking ref links that instead of shoving paid Memecoin deals down your face, maybe just click one of my ref links instead. Or pay me nothing. I don't care. I'll keep doing these videos. I appreciate you guys. Next one is on Wednesday. And then again on Friday. If you want to support me, make sure you're just following me on all those platforms, leaving comments, like, subscribe, notification bell, all that gay YouTuber shit. All right, guys. Appreciate you all. Hope you all have a happy Memorial Day. If you're in America, go grill some burgers and some hot dogs and drink some beer. I'll talk to you guys in a couple of days.